Good day, class. Today we are going to be treating an economics topic, production possibility curve. For short, we can also call production possibility curve PPC. Now, before I continue, does anybody know what production possibility curve is?
Production possibility curve is a curve that shows the possible combinations between two commodities that can be produced in an economy at a given level of technology and productive resources, assuming the resources are fully and most efficiently used.
That's correct. So now, production possibility curve is a diagram or graph that shows all possible combination of two commodities in an economy given a level of technology and resources within a short period of time. So we are taking the meaning of production possibility curve. Production possibility curve, it shows the combination of, let's say, commodity X and Y in an economy giving maybe 70% of economic resources, where all economic resources are utilized. That means none is left behind. Out of the 70, everything is used and not even 10% is left behind. So the assumptions in production possibility curve. Production possibility curve, the first assumption, there are two commodities, X and Y. Let's say two commodities, X and Y. The next one, there is fixity of resources. That means resources are fixed. Resources are fixed. In essence, that means the resources is not going up, neither is it. They are not in plenty supply. The third one, full employment of resources. Third assumption, full employment of resources. These resources which are scarce are fully utilized. This means that all the resources are used up in the production process. Because in the production of two goods, let's say this commodity X and Y, we use all the resources given to us to produce these two commodities X and Y. The fourth assumption, fixed level of technology. The definition of production possibility curve. I said that it's the possible combination of two commodities giving a fixed resource and a fixed level of technology. So we are given fixed level of technology. This is one of the assumptions of production possibility curve, that there are no much technology in the country or in an economy. Next, we take analysis of production possibility curve. The analysis of production possibility curve. We will take an example given the table. So class, given this production possibility schedule, let's take the illustration on a graph. Here's the origin. Y-axis represents margarine in cups. And our x-axis represents rice. This is graph. On the y-axis, we have 1 cm to represent 20 units. Represents 20 units. And on the x-axis, 1 cm represents 20 units. So, from our production possibility curve schedule, let's impute the combinations on this graph. So remember, we said in the definition of production possibility curve that production possibility curve is a graph showing the possible combinations of two commodities. So from this production possibility schedule, let's represent it on this graph. For the first combination, combination A, all our resources were used to produce 150 cups of margarine and no bag of rice was produced. So we have, remember from our scale, we said 1 cm represents 20 units. From 140 to 160 is 20 units. Which means between 140 and 160 is 150. That means 150 is somewhere here on the graph and 0 bag of rice. So we mark here. Therefore, combination B, 140 cups of margarine was produced and 40 bags of rice. That means 10 cups of margarine was forfeited in order to produce 40 bags of rice. So margarine 140, 40 bags of rice. Yes, 40. So we trace up the graph. These are points of intersection. Mark here. That's for 140 cups of margarine and 40 bags of rice. Then combination C, 120 cups of margarine was produced and 70 bags of rice. Between 60 and 80, that means there is 70 somewhere here. Let's check. Take care to be 70 and 120 for margarine. So we trace. Seventy, 120. These are points of intersection. Then combination D, 90 cups of margarine was produced and 70 and 90 bags of rice. Fifty cups of margarine and 110 bags of rice. And 0 cups of margarine to produce 120 bags of rice. That's here. Go. So let's do it. So from our combination, here is combination A, B, C, D, E, and F. So class, having joined this possibility code, in WAEC you see question like indicate points P and Q which production is not feasible on the PPC drum. We will also see questions like indicate points R and K which resources are not efficiently utilized. You can also see something like what does the downward slope, this is the downward slope, what does the downward slope of the PPC indicate? And you can also be asked, remember I said indicate points P and Q which production is not feasible. You can also be asked why is production not possible at points P and Q? So let's answer these questions. Said indicate points P and Q. Are points P and Q. Points P and Q on the graph represents where is non-feasible, the non-feasible region of the graph. Why here is non-feasible? Why points P and Q is non-feasible? This is because the resources we are given, no matter how we combine the production, we cannot get to points P and Q because resources are scarce and they are fixed. So we are also asked to indicate R and K where resources are not efficiently utilized. Points R and K, all resources that were given were not fully used. So points R and K can also be said to be wastage or inefficient use of resources. We also have why is the production possibility curve downward sloping? So we were asked why is the production possibility curve downward sloping? This is because of opportunity cost. On this schedule, for us to produce 40 bags of rice, we had to sacrifice 10 cups of margarine. And for us to produce more bags of rice, we will continue sacrificing margarine from 140 to 120 cups to 90 cups to 50 cups, and then we have nothing produced. But you will have 120 bags of rice, which is the maximum number of bags rice can get to because we are given a fixed amount of resources. Lastly, we were asked to calculate the opportunity cost in order to produce 70 bags of rice. The opportunity cost to produce 70 bags of rice is 20 cups of margarine. Why? We had 140 cups of margarine to produce 40 bags of rice. Then at this point, we have 120 cups to produce 70 bags. 140 minus 120 gives us 20. That means we sacrificed 20 cups of margarine for us to produce 70 bags of rice. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
After the explanations and diagrams, does anybody have any question? So class, at this point, we have come to the end of the class. Thank you and see you next time.